What would you do if the one place you thought was safe turned into a battlefield of your past? For me, that place was home until the day my parents opened the door to my worst nightmare. My name is Ellie, and this is the story of how my family's blind favoritism tore open old wounds and forced me to face the person I swore I'd never forgive. Growing up, I was the shadow to my sister Lila's golden light. At 16, Lila was everything our parents dreamed of: charming, straight-A student, captain of the cheer team, with a smile that could melt hearts. I was the quieter one, 2 years older, more comfortable with books than people. Our parents adored Lila's sparkle, and I didn't mind much. I loved her too, even if her perfection sometimes stung. But nothing could have prepared me for the moment they chose her happiness over my pain. It started on a rainy October evening. I was curled up in my room, lost in a novel, when I heard Lila's excited chatter downstairs. She'd been struggling since her best friend moved away, and Mom and Dad were desperate to see her smile again. I didn't think much of it until the doorbell rang, followed by a voice that sent ice through my veins. It was sharp, mocking, and unmistakable Cassie Reynolds, the girl who'd made my middle school years a living hell. Cassie had been relentless. She'd mocked my clothes, my glasses, my everything, turning the cafeteria into a gauntlet of whispers and laughter. I'd spent years rebuilding myself, but that voice still haunted my dreams. And now, it was in my house. I crept to the stairs, heart pounding, and saw her standing in our living room, all fake smiles and glossy hair, hugging Lila like they were long-lost friends. My parents beamed, oblivious to the storm brewing in my chest. Why was she here? I confronted Mom later, my voice shaking. She sighed, her face a mix of pity and resolve. Lila's been lonely, Ellie, she said. Cassie's changed, and Lila needs a friend. You're stronger, you can handle this. Handle it? They expected me to swallow my trauma because Lila was sad? I felt like I'd been slapped. Dad chimed in, saying it was time to let go of grudges. They didn't get it. They never had. The next few weeks were torture. Cassie was at our house constantly, her laughter echoing through walls I'd once thought were mine. Lila worshipped her, oblivious to the sly glances Cassie shot my way, each one a reminder of the past. I tried to avoid her, but she was everywhere, eating my favorite snacks, lounging on my couch, even borrowing my old sketchbook like it was nothing. Every time I spoke up, Mom would shush me with, "Don't make a scene, Ellie. Lila's happy." I felt invisible, my pain dismissed as an inconvenience. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. One night, as I passed Lila's room, I overheard Cassie talking not to Lila, but to someone on the phone. Her voice was low, venomous, plotting to humiliate Lila at the upcoming school dance. She was using my sister, just like she'd used me years ago. My first instinct was to run to Mom and Dad, but I stopped. They wouldn't believe me. They'd call it jealousy, another grudge. I was alone in this, but for the first time, I saw a chance to protect Lila not just from Cassie, but from the pedestal our parents had placed her on. I started watching Cassie closely, pretending to tolerate her. It wasn't easy. Every smirk she threw my way felt like a blade, but I had a purpose now. I needed proof. That's when I met Jake, a quiet kid from Lila's class who'd been on the fringes of Cassie's clique. He was an unexpected ally, someone who'd seen Cassie's true colors but stayed silent out of fear. Jake had overheard her plans too, and he was willing to help. He told me Cassie was spreading rumors about Lila, setting her up to be the laughingstock at the dance. The betrayal stung, but it also lit a fire in me. Lila deserved better, even if our parents couldn't see it. Jake and I devised a plan. The dance was in 2 days, and Cassie was planning to rig the spotlight to shine on Lila during a staged wardrobe malfunction. Jake had access to the AV booth, been roped into tech crew, and he could sabotage Cassie's scheme. But I had to confront her first, not just for Lila, but for myself. The night of the dance, I found Cassie in the gym, adjusting the lights with a smug grin. My heart raced, but I stepped forward, my voice steady. "I know what you're planning," I said. Her eyes widened, but she laughed it off, calling me paranoid. I didn't back down. I told her I'd recorded her phone call Jake's idea, a bluff that worked. Her face paled, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. The dance went on without a hitch. Jake redirected the spotlight to Cassie instead, catching her in the act of trying to tamper with Lila's dress. The crowd gasped, and Lila, confused but unharmed, looked at me with new eyes. Cassie fled, her reputation in tatters. Later, Lila found me outside, tears in her eyes. She hadn't known, she said, and she was sorry for not seeing my pain. We hugged, and for the first time in years, I felt like she saw Menet as the quiet sister, but as someone who'd fought for her. The hardest part came next, facing our parents. I told them everything: Cassie's cruelty, their favoritism, the way they'd dismissed my hurt. Mom cried, Dad looked ashamed, and they promised to do better. It wasn't a perfect fix, but it was a start. Lila and I grew closer, and Jake became a friend, someone who reminded me that allies can come from unexpected places. Cassie never came back to our house, and I heard she moved schools again, chasing new targets. I hoped she'd change one day, but I wasn't holding my breath. Looking back, I realized something profound. Forgiveness isn't about erasing pain, it's about choosing how you carry it. I didn't forgive Cassie, but I let go of the hold she had on me. And in protecting Lila, I found my own strength, not just as her sister, but as someone who could stand up for what was right, even when it hurt. My parents learned to see me, not just Lila's shadow, and our home became a place where I could breathe again. Sometimes, the hardest battles teach us the most human truths, that love, even when flawed, can heal, and that standing up for someone else can mean standing up for yourself.